of the Lagos State Branch. I want to welcome every participant to this program, and I want to appreciate our facilitator, who happens to be a former vice chairman of the association, who's going to take us through the public policy, the government policies. And then my appreciation also goes to the coordinator of Knowledge Hub for putting this together. I think you have done a very good thing for us, that we have this platform. When you talk about the changing in the world of work, that now technology has come into play, and we are also supporting to ensure that we are in line with international best practice. What I can say is that for me to just wish you success in your examination, and I don't want you to have it at the back of your mind that examination. It's not about examination. It's about training. They train you and then they assess you. It's not for anything. It's for better performance and better service delivery to the citizen and residents of Lagos State. And on that note, I want to wish you congratulations in advance, because I know everyone is going to be successful by the special grace of God. Thank you.
Amen. Let me see your emojis to complement that prayer. Please catch that prayer from the union leader. Never can tell. God can put the prayer on his mouth so that don't say you don't catch it. Let's keep on rolling the emojis. Let's keep on rolling the emojis. All right. Okay, let's go straight to the business. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, distinguished, good afternoon once again, distinguished colleague, and welcome to another impactful edition of the Public Service Knowledge of Learning Series in collaboration with the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, Lagos Chapter. This afternoon, we continue our year 2026 promotion tutorial series with a season that goes to the very heart of public service efficiency, governmental policy development in Lagos State administration. As civil servants, we work inside a system guided by policies. Understanding how those policies are conceived, structured, approved, communicated, and implemented is essential to our daily responsibilities and our career growth. This knowledge becomes even more critical for officials preparing for the 2026 promotion exercise. So we encourage everyone to pay attention, ask questions, and take notes, because the understanding gained today will strengthen your professionalism and make you more effective in MDA. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before I go into the facilitator's profile, please check if your pen, any of the color is working correctly, and make sure your jotter is open and clean. I will advise you get A4 paper or 60 leaves textbooks so that you get ready, fully prepared. About our guest, Mr. Oyekanjayi Babatunde graduated from Lagos State University, Ojo, where he bagged Bachelor of Science in Political Science in 1988. He obtained a postgraduate diploma in public administration at the prestigious Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, PGD ASCON 2007-2008, and a Master in Public and International Affairs 2016. He also attended the National Institute for Policy and Strategy Study, NIPSS, Kuru Jos in year 2018 for the policy, strategy, and leadership. Did you see why this we put the right peg on the right hole? His career trajectory in the state service, civil service stated as follows. Ministry of Home Affairs and Culture 2000 to 2003, Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation 2003, Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations 2003-2009, Ministry of Transportation 2009-2014, Civil Service Commission 2014-2023, Lagos State Teaching Hospital lawsuit. He is a member Shattered Institute of Personnel Management, MCIPM, in 2020. Associate member, Nigeria Institute for Training and Development in 2010. Associate member, Shattered Institute of Public Administration of Nigeria, 2010. He was deployed to Lagos State University Teaching Hospital last week to serve as Director of Hospital Administration and Human Resource in 2023. He was later deployed from last week with effect from 2025 to Ministry of Wealth Creation. Mr. Oyekon Jelili Babatunde promotes and encourages teamwork among subordinates, develops subordinate management skill through effective delegation of authority, motivates subordinate towards the attainment of organizational goal. He has effective listening skill, ability to mentor subordinate and his colleagues, and he has good interpersonal relationship with colleagues. His leisure is reading, playing football, as well as listening to music and traveling. Mr. Oyekon Jelili is currently the Director, Admin and HR, Lagos State Electricity Regulatory Commission, LASEC. He is happily married with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm expecting your emojis. That should not be told, your emojis. If truly you are here today to learn about policy, because we have a permanent secretary making among us here. So let's prepare. All right, we start wasting much of our time. We unmute our facilitator to say every one of us. Sorry, everyone. I've been So you have the floor, Mr. Facilitator.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm highly honored to be part of this experience because knowledge in life is part of experience of life. So if you don't have the knowledge, there is no way you can understand what life is all about. So, and I also want to congratulate the eligible the eligible officers for year 2026 promotion exercise in advance. I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you. So, by the special grace of God, your effort will not be in vain. God will crown all your effort with a brilliant success. So, it is on that note that I want to introduce the topic: presentation of governmental policy development in the Lagos State. In the Lagos State. Yes, policy. They said it is my policy to do this. It is the policy of the government. As a career civil servant, we are expected to play an advising role in the effective implementation of government policy because we have the knowledge of the file. And because of our experience over years, we are expected to advise the government because we know the policy of government that were successful in the past and the government and the policy of the government that failed in the past. So instead of us to criticize the government that yes, the policy has failed, what made the policy failed? Is it the government that initiated the policy that made the policy failed at the initiation stage, or the people that are expected to carry out effective implementation of the policy? No. So that will make us to experience what the role and importance of government policy. So the aims of this presentation is to examine the role and importance of government policies to identify some of the challenges and fundamental problem of government policies. Specifically, the study intends to achieve the following aims and objectives. One, to explain the roles and importance of government policies, determine the impact of effective implementation of government policies, characteristics of good policies, factors that influence government policies, and examine the benefit of government policies. Two, to discuss the policy circle and four basic elements that guide policy process. We are talking about the philosophy behind the implementation of the policy or behind the formulation of the policy. We are talking about the objective, the goals and objective of the policy. We are talking about the strategies to be adopted to achieve the successful implementation of the policy and the resources. So we are also going to examine the challenges of policy failure or policy somersault. Then finally, we are going to link it up to the governmental policy development of the present administration under the leadership of our admirable governor, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu Teams Agenda Plus. That will now take us to the question, what is policy and its importance? Yes, oftentimes we listen to ourselves. We say, yes, it is my policy. No, I am not ready to do this. I'm not ready to do that. No, it is my policy not to do X, Y, Z. Yes, what is policy and its importance? Policy is a clear rule. It's a rule. You can't just decide a policy and say, yes, this is a policy. No. If it is a policy, it has to be a rule, there should be a rule, and it is a clear rule, plan, or decision made by an organization or government to show how things should be done. To show how things should be done. Meaning that if you are coming up with a policy, it has to be guided with rules. The policy must be planned and decision must be taken for people to know how things should be done. Then policy is a formal documented statement of intention and set of actions of a government. So government policy is the framework that drives how every MDA operates. Policy as the strategic use of resources to alleviate state or national problem or governmental concerns. Example, the Lagos state government may have a policy on electricity regulation to guide how power distribution should work in the state. We all know that issue of power is a major problem in the state, even in the country. So a state government can come up with a policy statement to regulate the power distribution and how things should be work. That is a policy. The importance of government policy. Importance of government policy. Policy play a vital role in the society as it creates awareness on the intention of the government for a particular sector. So we have various sectors. We have education sector, we have health sector, we have transportation sector, and government can decide to come up with a policy in any of the sector. So it is the significant role of the policy that will enable people to have that awareness and say, oh, okay, this is what government is doing in the area of education policy. This is what government is doing in the area of economy. This is what government is doing in the area of youth development programs. So this is what government is doing in the area of poverty alleviation program. So the policy, one of the importance of the policy is that it plays a vital role, a significant role in the society. Policy can measure the achievement made by the government. We can also use policy as a yardstick to measure the performance of any government. So yes, the policy might be very tough. It might be very tough, but we can use public opinion to measure such a policy and also to measure the achievement made by the government. So policy also helps to respond to the needs of the society. Yes, we know society, because yes, the society, but development of the government, developmental government can only impact on the needs of the society. And that will take us to another question that says, why governmental policy development matters? Why governmental policy development matters? If you look at the successive governments in Lagos State, from the inception of the state, during Mobalaji Johnson to the present administration. So we know we have various governmental policy development matters. And governmental policy development matter is the structured process, because it has to have steps by steps, process. It has a circle through which government identify issues. So it is the governmental policy development matters that enable the government to identify issues. And once government identifies such issues, then government will design solution. There must be a problem and there must be a solution to the problem. You cannot live in the society without having a problem. Yes, it's part of the society, but the government can also sit down, look at the problem, and develop solutions to the problem, and make decisions and implement actions that shape public life. So policies, when you are talking about policies, you said yes, policy. Policy provide direction for government action. When governments look at the traffic congestion in the state, they came up with LASTMA. When governments look at the way people behave in the society, they came up with CAI. So government cannot sit down without looking at what will make life in the society, more convenient and suitable for people in the society. So policy ensure consistency in decision making. So it also organizes resources towards state and national goals. It creates accountability. Yes, we are all living witness to the achievement of the present administration. So, and we also know that we all in the Lagos state, we also come up with this idea of press briefing. What is the essence of press briefing? Create accountability for people to know what government has done, what government has done in the past. Within a year, the policies of the government, the achievements that have been made, and the challenges. Yes, government, they also are facing challenges. There are challenges militating against the effective implementation of government policies. So policy also promotes stability and predictability in governance. Without coherence, policies, governance become guesswork. And governance is not a guesswork. You have to sit down, look at the problem, come up with a solution to tackle such a problem. And that will take us to policy structure. Now, if you look at a document and you want to know whether such a document is a policy document or not, there are essential features you need to look out for in such a document. One of the essential features is purpose. In that policy document, we are going to look at the purpose why the policy is being formulated, function or goal of the policy, underlining principles and values, the assumption that drives it. Government cannot sit down, like I've said earlier. So government will look at the challenges facing the society, then the assumption that drives such a policy. We also look at the specific objectives, that is the SMART analysis, aims and objective of the policy. So when you look at the SMART analysis, you look at specific, you look at measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. Because policy must be time-bound. It's not a lifetime of a thing. So we look at the strategy as well. For any policy to be effective, so such policy, there must be objective, like I've said, and then we need to also look at the approaches and methodology to be used. So we look at the action. For carrying out strategies, we look at the enforcement. We look at the enforcement, then we look at the outcome of the policy expected from action, that is outcome, result, and feedback mechanism. It's like a system where we have input, output, and feedback mechanism. Because if you have input, yes, that is what you want government to do, agitation, request, then because they are going to process it. That is input. Then output, they are going to process it, you look at it, then agitation, yes, this is what we wanted government to do for us. Then the feedback mechanism, to what extent the achievement of the government, is it to a greater extent or to what? So we also need to look at that, and that is the outcome of any government policy. So we also look at the performance. How will success be measured? So that is the assessment. Assessment, evaluation, and key performance indicators. So key performance indicators, we need to look at it. Okay, yes, this policy is doing fine. Okay, this policy, we can reform it. We can reformulate the policy at this stage. Okay, no, this is what the direction of the policy. So those factors will come into performance. Then we will also need to look at management framework, operational guidelines, and risk management in policy. Yes, what are the risks? Then policy review, monitoring, and evaluation is very key in any policy. So if you look at any document, any government policy document, these are the essential features of a good government policy. And that will now take us to the policy circle. Policy circle. Because we also need to understand the policy circle, how government comes about the policy. Okay, this is what government has done. What is the starting point, the step-by-step achievement? So it's a process. So we need to understand the process, and that is what policy development circle is all about. The first thing we need to identify is agenda setting. Agenda setting. That is problem identification. We identify the problem. So once the problem has been identified, once the problem is identified, we look. When the problem is identified, we'll look at policy analysis. We analyze it. Okay, what can we do? Then this is the issue of insecurity in the state. What can we do? How can the government tackle such a problem? Then we also need to look at that. We also need to examine the policy formulation. Formulate the policy, we look at the decision making, policy implementation, and monitoring and evaluation. So I am going to discuss extensively on each of the steps or stages of the policy for better understanding. So I will now talk about the agenda setting, which is identification of problem. So government detects issues through data and research. Before you can come up with any agenda setting or anything, you need to identify the problem. I have said that. You need to have your data, and you need to carry out a research. A thorough research must be carried out for you to know, okay, this is the problem. A very good example of problem identification. In the past, at lands, we don't have we don't have pedestrian bridge, but due to request and agitation of people living around that area, government look at it and came up with an idea to have a pedestrian bridge, in order to prevent people from crossing the road, and then which will result to loss of life and every other thing, accident and what have you. So we need to come up with a data and research. Then after data and research, the next one is public complaint. Public will complain, yes, we don't have water in our area, there is no light, our the road is bad. So government will sit down, look at it. So, okay, now at XYZ road, we need to rehabilitate the road, we need to do this, we need to do this. Okay, there is no water, so Lagos State Water, whatever, go there, do your research, and come up with your data and recommendation. So political agenda as well. We can also, through political agenda, we can identify problems and we can set agenda from there. So, and party manifesto. Party manifesto. Yes, the party manifesto, they will come up with what they intend to do for the populace. And from there, the civil servants, because we have the knowledge of the file, we will sit down, look at the policy, and transform it into effective policy statements. So emerging risk or crisis, this stage, that is the agenda setting / problem identification stage, is a stage where we ask a question: what exactly needs fixing? What exactly needs to be done? So that is where a fundamental question will come up. What exactly? How do we tackle this problem? So now, the present administration came up with the team's agenda because they are able to identify the problem and they set their agenda for it. So problem identification is one of the key policy circle. So, and that will take us to policy analysis. When you are talking of policy analysis, at this point, the government gather facts, exploit opinion, and weigh costs and benefits and potential impact of the policy. So policy analysts will play a detective role. They will sit down, look at the policy critically, and come up with statistics. So case studies and stakeholders will meet. So stakeholders in insight as well. They will sit down, look at it critically. So that is policy analysis. And another stage is policy formulation. So policy formulation, that is where drafting begins. That is where they will sit down. They will collate the data, the research, the result of the research. Then they will now sit down, formulate the policy, and the involvement of government agency will also be needed at that policy formulation because they will sit down, look at the policy critically. The policy options, draft documents, regulations, strategic framework to be adopted. Coordination across ministries is critical to avoid contradictions or overlap. So in a situation where ministries are not duly informed or stakeholders are not called for a meeting and they just want to come up with a policy, it will result to policy failure. You see people, they said, no, that is not our need. We need schools in our area, and governments are coming up to build a hospital. No, we need this. So people will always complain, and it is through their complaint that government can formulate a good policy statement. So that will take us to decision making. Decision making is also very key in policy circle because you cannot just say, yes, this is what we wanted to do. They will look at it critically. So, and one of the factors they need to consider is that high-level authority, that is the State Executive Council, will look at such policy critically. So they will deliberate on it at the level of the State Executive Council, and they will come up with a position paper. Then such a policy will also be forwarded to the Lagos State House of Assembly for the backing of the law, because a policy must have the backing of the law. Then the board, the commission, and every other members will come up, and look at the policy, then approved. So once they are able to, skip through that stage, they would come up with approved. Then the policy will be approved. The policy could be modified or reject, and then return for review. They can also return the policy for a review. That, okay, now this policy, let us review it. This is not what we wanted. Then policy and public interest converge at this point. So that is the point where we jettison our political interest, because public interest is key. So, and we cannot allow political interest to override public interest. So at that point, at the decision making, so we need to look at the two. We need to look at the politics, the interest, and then also look at public interest. So, and then the two will converge at this point. So that will also take us to the next circle. And the next circle is policy implementation. And we call it epicenter because that is the stage people will begin to appreciate the government. This is where idea becomes action. Oh, okay, this is the intention of the government. Oh, okay, this is school. Oh, okay, this is hospital. Oh, no, this is what government. Oh, now we can now appreciate, because that is the stage where all ideas becomes action. So one, MDAs roll out programs. We see, okay, yes, this is what we want to do. Each MDAs will begin to roll out their programs, the agenda or whatever. So the second one is budget. Budget is also very key when you want to come up with your policy, because you are going to use resources to back it up. You cannot achieve any policy statement without the financial implication of such policy. So budget are activated at that point. So regulations are enforced. So they will look at it. Okay, we need enforcement, we need this, we need that. So that is where they are going to put all heads together to ensure the effective implementation of the policy. Systems are put in place, implementation
It's like the network have kicked the facilitator out. Please bear with us. Let me see what's going on. We'll get back to you now.
Hello, everyone. So I'm very sorry for the break in transmission. It was as a result of power interrupted. So the power was interrupted. So sorry. So let me take it again from the indicators or characteristics of good policy. So I said, if you lay your hands on any document, and for you to know whether that document is policy document or not, the first thing you need to look out for is endorsed. So that is, the policy has the support of the people. The policy, the people must support such a policy, and it has to be a policy that everybody in the society. The policy must enjoy the public support. Then relevant. The policy is relevant to promoting sustainable growth and development of the country. So realistic. Uh, yes, endorsed, relevant, then realistic. The policy must make sense, like I've said. The policy is logical and well seasoned. So the policy must be logical and well reasoned. So attainable. The policy can be implemented successfully without the right. The policy can be implemented successfully with the right structure in place. Adaptable. The policy can accommodate change. Enforcement. The policy has statutory backing because it's the position of the law. So, and whether you like it or not, you must obey the law. So, inclusiveness. The policy scope includes all relevant parties. The scope of the policy covers all relevant parties. Then we also want to examine factors.
Distinguished participant, please, are we audible there? Signify with your emojis if we are audible. Because the network is not friendly here. Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry for breaking the transmission. I have to exchange my gadgets for the facilitator to use it so that we can get this. Thank you very much. So you can go ahead, sir, facilitator. Go ahead.
So we also want to look at factors that influence government policy. He said, yes, the policy has been influenced. Yes, who influenced what and why? Because yes, influence is part of the success of any society. So we need to look at the factors that influence government policy. Public policy are influenced by a variety of factors. These factors include public opinion. Yes, public opinion and societal priorities strongly influence government policy over time. Yes, okay, no, this is what we wanted, though. This is our need, though. We don't want this. So agitation, riots, protest, and what have you. So it's as a result of public opinion. So, and it can also influence the policy of the government. So economic condition also significantly affect the policy environment and operating contents for businesses. Interest group advocates for policies that serve the desires of their members and further the mission of the organization. Yes, the various interest group, the MBA, so if government is coming up with a policy that will not be favorable to the member, they will agitate. They will come up with requests. No, we are not interested in this kind of policy. It's not favorable. The policy is harsh. No, the policy is not friendly. So interest group also play a significant role, when they want to influence government policy. So non-governmental organizations also play a role. So technological change, like the ICT website and what have you, also has influence on the government policy. So business association like Chamber of Commerce and Industry also has influence on government policy. So that will now take us to benefits of government policy. Now, what are the benefits of government policy? One, government often provide for defense against external aggression. So that is under security. Then government address environmental concern. That is under environment and health. So the third one is it increases productivity, efficiency, and deliver work on time. It helps to utilize time effectively. 51, more opportunities and career growth. 6, improve quality of lives. Quality of life. And 7, it reduces stress and anxiety. 8, government intervention can also prevent social unrest from extreme inequalities. So those are the benefits of government policies. We move on to stakeholders in policy development. Who are the stakeholders? Yes, government cannot do it alone. We all know. But who are the stakeholders? The first primary stakeholders in any policy development is the executive leaders or the executive leadership. We talk about Mr. Governor, the minister, the commissioner of various ministries. Then we talk of MDAs, that is ministry, department, and agencies. We talk of the assembly, so they will pass it to law and they will enforce it. So judiciary, when judicial review becomes necessary, then civil society and communities. So the community leaders, they are stakeholders, you are going to call them for a stakeholders meeting. They are going to present such a policy before them. Yes, this is the intention of the government, and look at it critically for you to have an input, because it's not going to be a policy that will just put it and make people to force it down their throat. No, look at it, critique it. No, are you sure this policy will be favorable? Are you sure this policy will be act on us? So those are the people that are going to have involvement in such decision. Development partners, the private sectors. So those are the people and stakeholders. In your objective, they will ask you. So key stakeholders in policy development. So these are the key policy development and the key stakeholders in policy development. The executive leadership, the MDAs, being recorded. Legislation, judiciary, civil society and communities, development partners, and the private sector. So we also want to examine the tools and method for effective policy development. Yes, what are the tools to be used and what are the methodology to be adopted for effective policy development? The first one is data analysis. We are going to analyze your data. As I've said earlier in my last and the previous slides, that data analysis, you analyze your data, evidence-based research. Then 2, stakeholders consultation, stakeholders meeting. 3, regulatory impact assessment. We call it RIA, regulatory impact assessment. They are going to look at it. They are going to, a lot of effort will definitely be put into the policy before it could be announced as a policy statement or policy document. Benchmarking. We want to benchmark such a policy either with the local or international. The scenario analysis, we paint it. Okay, during Alhaji Lateef Jakonde administration, what happened? During Governor Babajide, during Governor Babatunde Fashola administration, what happened? So that is comparative analysis. So comparative analysis of the successive governments. So scenario analysis, we look at that. So then we also look at cost benefit and cost effectiveness framework. What is going to cost the government in doing this? So cost benefit and cost effectiveness framework. So those are the tools, because they can ask you in your objective question, then what are the tools and the methodology, or method for effective policy. So don't forget cost benefit and cost effectiveness framework. These tools protect policy from guesswork and bias. So if you really followed the tools, so it will protect the policy from guesswork and bias. I said, yes, this is what you want to do. You have done it. No, you need to be very, very careful, and follow the tools and the method, for you to have effective policy development. Then challenges of governmental policies development. Yes, as an individual, we have our challenges as well. Likewise, the government. We said everything is government. No, government cannot do it alone. Like, a machine cannot work alone with the full support of its parts. Definitely, the government cannot single-handedly achieve anything without the support of everyone. So you have to pay your tax, government will use it to, for developmental programs. So the first thing we need to look at for under challenges of governmental policy development is abuse of public power for private gain. Abuse of public power for private gain, corruption and indiscipline, kickback mechanism, bribery and political interference, lack of continuity in government policy. So then we say, yes, abandon projects. What happened? Lack of continuity in governmental policy, lack of poor stakeholders engagement also affects governmental policy. So political pressure, limited data. If you don't have enough data, it will definitely affect your governmental policy. Then inter-agency conflicts. Yes, we have duplication of assignments, ministerial assignment of responsibilities. So two ministries are contending on a policy. So interagency conflict can also, come up as a challenge, of governmental policy development. Lack of expertise knowledge. Yes, the right person for the job. The right person for the job. At that point, we need to jettison our favoritism and whatever. But it's one of the key factors that affect successful implementation of government policy. It's a challenge. Lack of expertise knowledge, inadequate capacity or technical skills will affect the policy. Yes, the government has good intention, but the person that wants to carry out such has lack of expertise knowledge. So narrow view a policy formulation at the policy formulation stage. If we fail to get it right, it will definitely affect the effective implementation of the policy. So that is the reason why the policy formulation stage is very key, is very important, because that is the stage that will determine whether the policy will be successful or not. And once we get it right at that stage, then your policy is good to go. But once you get it wrong at that stage, you pay for it. That is when you see policy failure, you see policies somersault, you see abandoned project and what have you. And the issue of policy implementation and the policy coordination also important. Lack of adequate monitoring and evaluation. You can see that monitoring and evaluation also play a significant role in policy, but a lack of adequate monitoring and evaluation can turn to be a challenge which could affect the effective implementation of such government policy. Then paucity of funds. Yes, government cannot spend all the funds on a particular policy or on a particular sector. They have to diversify, health sector, transportation sector, and every other sector must also have the impact of the government as well. Identifying challenges earlier helps in designing stronger policy. So once we are able to identify the challenges earlier, it will help in designing stronger policies. Then that will now take us to team's agenda, because the background is for us to understand the position of the policy. Yes, the think agenda, then the past administration and whatever. But we need to understand the basic principle of policy development, and that was what I did, in my slide 1 to slide 17. So slide 18 now. We are going to examine the themes plus agenda of the present administration. The present administration in Lagos State is guided by the team's agenda, a strategic framework focusing on 6 key development pillars. The first one is the first one is T, and the T, number 1, is transportation and traffic management, enhancing the efficiency of Lagos transportation systems to reduce congestion and improve mobility. Then the second pillar is health and environment. Health and environment, improving healthcare services and promoting environmental sustainability. Then the third pillar is education and technology, advancing educational standards and integrating technology into learning and governance. So the fourth pillar is making Lagos a 21st century economy, focusing economic growth and positioning Lagos as a competitive global city. Then the fifth pillar, entertainment and tourism, developing the state entertainment and tourism sectors to boost cultural heritage and economic opportunities. The sixth one, which is the last pillar, is security and governance, ensuring the safety of residents and promoting effective governance. We are all witness to what is happening in our country, but we thank God for the state. We thank God for the leadership, so we know what Lagos stands for. Then the team's agenda. In the second term of the present administration, under the leadership of our amiable, dedicated, and our amiable Governor Sanwo-Olu, Governor Olusola Sanwo-Olu, expanded this framework to the team's plus agenda. The plus signify and intensify focus on social inclusion, ensuring that all residents, regardless of background, have access to opportunities and resources. The pillar 8, gender equality, promoting equal rights and opportunity for all genders. Pillar 9, youth development, empowering the youth through education, employment. That is what Ministry of Wealth Creation stands for, and Women Affairs as well. So empowerment program, to waste wealth, to change their focus from white collar job, for them to discover their potential. So that is what the youth development program stands for. And engagement in governance. This expansion reflects a commitment to a no one left behind. That is it. You can come up in your objective question. No one left behind. That is the philosophy of our governor. So for that, Teams Plus, no one left behind, the philosophy. So aiming to design policies and programs that cater to every segment of the population. The team's agenda is the strategic development blueprint of the Lagos State government under Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. It serves as a roadmap. Yes, from the beginning of our lecture, I said policy is a roadmap. So now this team's agenda serves as a roadmap to transform Lagos into a model, smart, inclusive, and economically vibrant mega city. Traffic management and transportation. My explanation, because I have to expatiate on each pillar. First one is traffic management and transportation. Expansion and completion of rail projects, blue line and red line. So road rehabilitation and construction, Lekki Regional Road, Penn Cinema Bridge, and etc., enhancement of BRT operations and waterways transportation, traffic enforcement, and last mile reforms. So you can see that the last mile has also been reformed with the new leadership. You can see what last mile has been doing, and we all appreciate them. We all appreciate the agency for the good work the organization has been doing, in the state. So the second pillar is the earth and environment. Earth is wealth, and the good environment, like Yoruba adage we said, agbègbè tó dáa ló mú ìlera tó dáa wá. If you are living in a good environment, definitely you have a good health. But if the environment in which you are living is contaminated, it will definitely affect your health. And that is the reason why we have health and environment together. So that is, the first one is under Ministry of Health, while the second one is under Ministry of the environment. So you can see the correlation of the two ministries. So we need to pay attention to all this, we pay attention to details. The first one is transportation. So that transportation is Ministry of Transportation. And LASTMA is under Ministry of Transportation, because transportation is the supervising ministry. But the second pillar is talking about health and environment. So look at the two, health, then environment. Then let us look at what we have under health and environment. Upgrade of public health facility, general hospitals. So most of the child centers. So we have sanitation, we have drainage. So you can see on every Thursdays in Lagos State, the market women, you will see them. They said, we are doing environmental, you can check back by 10. So, but now we are working, we are doing this. So that is environmental sanitation. And it's a law, it's a policy. If you don't do it, you are going to face the music. Drainage cleaning. Yes, you can see, if you pay attention to it, you can see that most of our drainage has been cleaning and whatever, and flood control projects, waste management improvement through LOMA reforms. So these are what the team's agenda is all about, and under the leadership of our governor. So the third pillar is education and technology. Look at the link, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Science, Innovation and Technology. Look at the link. So education, if you don't train them, don't blame them. So if they don't have the adequate knowledge, then what do they expect of them? So education and technology, renovation and equipping of public schools. So most of our public schools have been, renovated and equipped adequately. Digital learning initiative and technique skill acquisition program. So behind Lagos State Fire Service, you can see that we have our digital learning initiative, building. LASU and other tertiary institution upgrading. The former Lagos State Polytechnic has been upgraded to university standard. The former Adeniro Ogunsoya College of Education has also been upgraded to University of Education. So that is an achievement, and that is what policy is saying. So policy is talking about development, it's talking about change. So support for innovation, hubs and techniques start up Lagos innovations. Making Lagos a 21st century economy. Making Lagos a 21st century economy is also a pillar, and is very key is one of the very key pillars. So we talked about infrastructure development across sectors, housing, power, and broadband. We talked about investment in agriculture. We talked about manufacturing and easy of doing business reforms through LASRA, LASEC, and whatever. Public-private partnership for sustainable development. We have it, PPP. So for sustainable development is under making Lagos is 21st century economy. Entertainment and tourism. Yes, entertainment. We need to do and bear. We need to be body. We need to enjoy ourselves, and because it's part of life. You cannot say yes, walking. No, you have to walk, and at the same time you have to enjoy yourself. But there must be limit to everything in life. So entertainment and tourism is also a policy pillar in Lagos State. Support for creative industries, film, music, arts. Then two, upgrade to tourism sites, recreation parks, and waterfront, like the one behind the Ministry of Physical Planning there, and the other one adjacent to Lagos State House of Assembly. Then you can go there, enjoy yourself with your children. So we have waterfronts. Then branding Lagos as a global hub for entertainment events. So Lagos counts AFEMA. Support for cultural festivals and heritage preservation. Now, the present administration also supports cultural festival. In Lagos Island now, as we speak, we are having Oduedudu, and I also believe that every other part of the state, they are having the various cultural festival, because our heritage must be preserved. We must preserve our heritage, because that is our heritage. One, in Lagos Island, is our heritage as well. We have Egungun, we have Idunu, and every other thing. Yes, we are not saying we should be part of it, but it is our heritage. It is the culture. It is the festival, and we need to appreciate it. And that's the reason why the present administration is supporting it. That yes, this is our heritage, and we have to support it. Cultural festival and heritage preservation. That will take us to security and governance. Under security and governance, we know security is very, very important in any society, and the governance. So strengthening the Lagos State Security Trust Fund. So we can see it. If you pay attention, attention to happenings around you, you know that yes, Lagos State Security Trust Fund have just donated IAS to the police. So yes, these are the importance of security. Strengthen the Lagos State Security Trust Funds, to provide adequate security, for the populace. The deployment of more patrol vehicles, surveillance cameras in the state, technological driven policing. So we have Neighborhood Watch. They are part of the security arrangement made by the government. So reforms in public sector, transparency and e-governance, community policing, and neighborhood safety support. Then, if you are under any unrest, you can put a call through to them, and they will definitely pick your call and attend to you. So the team plus social inclusion, gender inequality, and youth engagement. So empowerment program for youth, then that is under Ministry of Youth Development. Then the empowerment for youth under Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Empowerment for youth under Ministry of Wealth Creation. These are programs that will definitely shift attention of our youth, from white-collar job to, self-actualization programs. Then disability inclusion, policies and accessibility improvements, poverty alleviation initiatives, and social welfare expansion. Focus on vulnerable population through targeted intervention. Next slide. Achievement under the team's agenda. Yes, the present administration recorded a remarkable achievement under the team's agenda, or under the team's plus agenda. The first one is completion of Lagos Blue Rail Line phase 1 operation. So if you go to Yaba, you can bear me witness of what the present administration has done. The grading of completion of the red lane, massive road infrastructure improvements, the Odoyalaro Bridge, just to be commissioned, but the bridge has been constructed. That's another policy statement, for the present administration. Establishment of innovation hubs and digital scale programs to improve health facilities and health insurance coverage, boost to entertainment, tourism, and creative economy, enhance security capacity through technique and surveillance. Those are the achievements recorded under team's agenda. Then the impact on Lagos State, the impact of the team's agenda on Lagos State: improve urban mobility and reduce travel time. Then if you want to move from a particular designation to another point, then the number of time or hours has been reduced drastically. So that's an achievement. So stronger health care delivery system. Yes, the government will continue to try and strive, because health is wealth and health is very important. It's one of the pillars. So there is no government that will not put health, education, and transportation in their policy statement. Whenever they are coming up with the party manifesto. But the party will put in their manifesto transportation, health, and education. So increase investment transaction and economic growth, enhance safety and responsive governance. Let me take it again. Increase investment attraction and economic growth, enhance safety and responsive governance, better opportunity for youth, women, and vulnerable groups. So that is the impact of the team's agenda. Now we want to examine the challenges. of the team's agenda. Apart from the achievements that have been enumerated or mentioned, then we also have challenges. Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu administration in Lagos State, guided by the Teams Plus agenda, has encountered several challenges that have impacted its implementation. 1, transportation and traffic management. Infrastructure strain. Lagos rapid population growth has led to increased pressure on existing transportation infrastructure, resulting in persistent traffic congestion. The project delays. One project like the road line rail are underway. Delay in completion have hindered efforts to provide efficient alternatives to road transportation. Then under health and environment, healthcare accessibility, ensuring widespread access to quality healthcare remains a challenge, particularly in densely populated and underserved areas. B, environmental concern. Rapid urbanization has led to environmental issues such as waste management challenges and pollution. Education and technology. Yes, resources allocation. Implementing comprehensive STEM education requires significant investment in training, infrastructure, and curriculum development. Digital divide. Bridging the gap in technology, access between different socioeconomic groups is an ongoing concern. Pillar 4, making Lagos a 21st century economy. Economy disparities, addressing income inequalities, and ensuring inclusive economic growth pose significant challenges. B, regulatory, streaming business regulations to attract and retain investors require continuous reforms. So fifth, entertainment and tourism. Infrastructure development. Projects like the Lagos Film City aims to boost tourism, but require substantial investment and coordination. Global competition. Positioning Lagos as a prime tourist destination involve competing with established global cities. The pillar 6, security and governance. Transparency issues. Historically, Lagos has faced challenges with financial transparency, leading to public being skeptical. Then security concern, urban crime, and ensuring the safety of residents and visitors remain ongoing challenges. The expanded focus area denoted by the team plus in the team's agenda, social inclusion, gender inequalities, and youth development also present their own set of challenges. So social inclusion, creating policies that effectively reach and uplift marginalized communities require careful planning and execution. The eighth pillar, gender equality, overcoming deeply rooted cultural norms and biases to promote gender inequality. Gender equality is a gradual process. Youth development also has its own challenges as well. Youth development, providing adequate opportunities for a young youth population in terms of education, employment, and civic engagement is a significant undertaking. Despite these challenges, the present administration remains committed to addressing them through strategic planning, stakeholders engagement. You can see, we are coming back to what I have said earlier. Strategic planning, stakeholders engagement, and continuous policy reforms. Then, in conclusion, government policy have suffered serious setbacks as a result of the incapacity and unwillingness of the government and its representative to effectively implement the policy in order to achieve the overall development in the country. In the light of this, public policy is an instrumentality. You can mark the word. Public policy is an instrumentality used by the federal, state, and local governments for achieving various goals, including the sustainable development of the nation. In conclusion, the team's agenda has significantly reshaped Lagos development landscapes, positioning it as a forward-looking, technique-enabled, inclusive megacity. It remains a strong framework for sustainable development and improved quality of life for residents. So we have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your time. And I pray that God Almighty will crown all your effort with a brilliant and resounding achievement. Amen. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me see your emojis. Not easy to impart knowledge on someone. Oh, beautiful. Awesome. 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 Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this beautiful appreciation. Once again, let me first of all apologize from breaking transmission in between. Thank God I'm beside the facilitator so that we could be able to deal with devil that don't want us to elevate our career. We are happy to sort that through. As you all know, we are, thank you very much. As you all know, we are at the question and answer segment, a segment where we need what every one of us have a different name we call it. Some we said throw more light, some we said enumerate, some we say ejaculate, and different English for better understanding. As we all know, our norms here, especially those who are regular participants, you ask your question. First of all, you call on your name, your ministry, then your question brief. Please, we don't have much time today because we have another important class by 5 o'clock. The class that has to do with discipline, appeal, and exit, which is important and is part of what the course circular listed as an area of concentration. So without not waste much of our time, let me say a big very thank you to our facilitator, and I'll be sharing my gadget with facilitator so that to answer our questions. Please, we will not take every one of us, but I will just select. Let me open the chat box. If you have your question, you can, the chat box is open for your messages. Now, Toka Etikpo Ndidi, sorry if I didn't call your name very well. Pardon me for that. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Mr. Facilitator. Thank you for your presentation.
Good
well
afternoon.
Understood.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. So I just want to ask a question. I don't know if it's right. My Oga is here and his hands are up too. So, Mr. Jamiu, please, can my Oga talk first? Mr. Olowoni Shaye Said.
Olo is there?
Olowoni
Okay.
Shaye Said, that's
It
my boss.
no,
Yes,
excuse me, it depends. See, ask your own question. Your guy will
okay.
ask his own question too.
So my question is, the facilitator has been saying team's agenda. So my question is, and he emphasized on the pillars, the team's agenda pillars, but he didn't talk about the team's plus agenda. I think that's what, or are we jettisoning the plus agenda? I think it's team's plus agenda now. So I don't know. I want to know so that we'll know what to write in the exam. Are we jettisoning the S, or we are still including the S? Because I think that's very important. But if it has been removed, let's know, sir.
All right. I think, do you join us from the onset, from the beginning, ma?
Yes, I did. Then my second question is on the Lagos State vision and mission statement. You know, when he was mentioning it, in the exams, are we supposed to mention it the way it is or the way he has mentioned it now?
All right. So
Yes,
are
sir.
we okay? Hold your pen and paper and listen at the background for him to answer the question.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you. We first of all to ask maybe the facilitator if he's going to take the question one after the other or get all the questions that with the name and the answer. How do you want it? One after the other. All right, sir. Okay. Okay.
Hello, madam.
Just continue, sir.
Madam, I mentioned it in the first term of the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. That was when he introduced team agenda. But in the second term, he introduced Team Plus agenda. And under Team Plus agenda, we have social inclusion, we have gender equality, we have youth development. So I mentioned it. And that was when I mentioned no one left behind, because that was the philosophy behind the Teams Plus. So I think I've answered your question. So if you go through the slide again, you will see that I mentioned them.
All right. I think she has a question on how to answer.
This is for knowledge.
Okay.
So for them to have a better understanding of how to address the question.
All right. Without waste much of our time. Here we don't pick any phone name, we pick names. So please always try to change your name on your gadget. Whereas I'm seeing Techno Camo, and if I'm calling Techno Camo now, how will you know that I'm referring to you? So I will move to Olowo Nishayi. Unmute yourself, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jami Onosoya.
Good afternoon,
And
sir.
Mr. Oyeko, you have been doing a very wonderful job. Your
Thank you,
efforts
sir.
will never go in vain, by God's grace.
Amen.
I
Thank
have
you,
two
sir.
questions. Firstly, just quickly explain to us on this call, what is a policy somersault?
It's policy failure. It's policy failure. Another
Fine.
word for policy failure is policy somersault.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you
So
very
it's
much.
just
I really
English.
appreciate that.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's English.
Secondly,
They say policy somersault or policy failure.
yes, thank you very much. Secondly, the slide where you discuss the plus, the last before conclusion, you didn't share
Yes,
it. We didn't able to screenshot it. The slide for the youth engagement, youth development, while you're discussing, it was not
Okay, the
shown before conclusion.
coordinator will do that. We have it.
Thank,
We have it here.
thank you very much, sir.
So we have it.
It's a good effort. You appreciate it, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I want to ask you before you go, sir. Are you on
Okay,
any
sir.
of our channels?
Of course, I'm a regular customer.
Which of the channel are you, sir?
You on YouTube, on WhatsApp.
Okay, so after this call, I will share the slide.
Okay, sir.
I don't want
Thank
to
you
stress
very
yourself be screenshotting or what have you. Just
Sorry for that.
get the full copy.
No problem.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Olo Nishayi. Okay, Techno Camo, can you unmute yourself, Techno? You see, you don't even know that I'm calling you. Okay, Adeshina Folarin, unmute yourself, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your name and your ministry. Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Adeshina Folarin Wolabi from Ministry of Agric and Food Systems. Please, I just want a clear understanding of how the team's agenda works for agriculture, because it's not clearly stated as in other ministries like environment, health, education, and all the others. So where do we find agriculture in the Teams Plus agenda of the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's policy, sir?
We can find it under governance, because it is hello?
I'm with you, sir.
Yes, I said we can find it under governance. It's not well defined because it is team agenda, but under the pillar as well. We have the economic pillar. Then the team's agenda is the policy that will drive the pillar. So, but now that we don't have, if you look at my first slide, you can see that from the picture, you see agriculture, housing, and other policy statement. Yes. So because it was not pronounced on that the team's agenda does not mean the Ministry of Agriculture does not have their policy. Of recent, we have eco-rice. Of recent, we have this program that was supported by the governor, where people are going to various points to buy items at subsidized rates. So it's part of the policy of the government. But because it was not announced under the team's agenda does not mean there is no policy, for agriculture in the state.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right. Agriculture is everywhere. Even under social inclusion, you can see fire agriculture there because everybody want to benefit from it. Okay, Mr. Adesina, please mute yourself from there. Do us a favor, mute yourself. Thank you. Mrs. Ogunlano Nimota.
Good evening, everybody. My
Good
name is
evening.
Ogunlano. My name is Ogunlano Dupe Nimota. I work with the Lagos State House of Assembly Service Commission. We appreciate the facilitator. Well grounded. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
My
ma'am.
question, yes, sir. My question is the policy planning process. That is the policy planning process. Can we include stakeholders' involvement as part of the?
Okay.
To
Let
be
me listen
or
to you.
listen to me, to be a basic for identifying problems. Like for example, Lagos State House of Assembly, they do consistent stakeholders meetings, and from there, whatever issues presented will generate will form the basis for whatever the problem might be for that particular local government, and the constraints are involved in the beginning of a policy planning. So can we say that in the exam, can we say that stakeholders' involvement to be part of or to be basic of identifying the problems? That is question number one. Then question number two, at what stage are we going to consider? Yes, at what stage are we going to consider the cost implication for the policy to be formulated? At what stage? Thank you.
The first question. So the policy, the involvement, the stakeholder consultation. If you look at it under the first, if you look at it under agenda setting, is there. So data research, party manifesto, public complaint. So public complaint can order come under stakeholders consultation. So it's part of it. Yes. Public, yes, under consultation, public complaint, because it is when I'm invited to a meeting that you will know my plight and say, oh, okay, this is your need, this is this. And then I also made mention of political agendas and party manifesto as well. So if you look at the agenda setting very well, so we see that those points were indicated. So
Thank you.
Correct. Then the second question is that where do you consider the financial implication? From the beginning. So you need to look at from the agenda setting. But where you are going to pay more attention to it is under formulation. So you pay attention to it under policy formulation, because that is when you are going to know who is going to do the project, the cost implication, the cost benefit analysis. So you put a lot of things into consideration at that stage. So it's at that stage. Then even at the decision-making stage too. So at the State Executive Council, they will look at it. The financial implication. The money is much, so we can't avoid it. So that is where they are going to have that deliberation and discussion. So, and if you look at it under this decision making, I said high-level authority, that is the State Executive Council, Legislation, Board, and Commission, they can approve it, they can modify the project, they can reject it, they can return such policy for review. So because after the consideration of, oh no, what then under implementation as well, you see the budget. It is then you know, okay, this is what this project will cost us, or the policy. So it's everywhere, because when you are preparing, like you are preparing for a wedding, so from the day one, you continue to know, okay, this is what this will cost me, this is the cost of this. So then before the final implementation, all these policy sample is also applicable in our life. If you are preparing for a wedding, you do agenda setting, you look at it, who and who will be involved in such a preparation. So you move to the next stage, which is analysis. You analyze your plan. So then you move to formulation. That is when you begin to invite people. Okay, now we are going to do, you roll out your invite, then you make a decision. You do all that. Then before the implementation and the monitoring on the day of the wedding, somebody must be on ground to monitor. So you see, that is monitoring and evaluation. So it's applicable in every aspect of our life. So if we really understand the policy process, we know that is very, very important in our life. So I want to believe I have answered your question.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Omula. Can you please mute yourself from your back end? Jubri Oloto, are you with us? Unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Your name and your ministry.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jami. Yes, my name is Oloto Jubril. I'm from Lansborough. Thank you very much for taking us through the tutorial. It's very, very impacting. So my question is this, sir, because I'm under the challenges of government policies development. This has been bothering for a long time, where you identify that in one of the reasons, you did identify that lack of continuity in government policies is a factor to the challenges that we have. So because a government cannot be forever, a government can actually not be, forever. And there's a policy that we need to do that has to continue for a long time for the beneficial of everybody. So how do we guide against if there's a change in government to maintain such policies? Because you said lack of continuity in government policies affects the policies of governments. So how do we guide against this kind of policies? If we have a very good policies that's going to be beneficial to, the citizen, for let's say Lagos State as a state, how can we guide against that kind of a policy that is going to be beneficiary to we, the citizens of Lagos State, even if the government changes? That's my question, please.
So lack of continuity is a major factor in implementation that's militating against effective policy developments. So you can see abandoned projects. So why? What's responsible for such? It could be paucity of funds on the part of the government. Okay, because by the time they were conceptualizing the policy, they might fail to put into consideration the duration, the delivery, and the time frame. So, and inflation also, is a factor that increases, the actual budget for the implementation of any government policy. But it's not in the interest of any government that formulated the policy to abandon such a project. It's not. So every government wanted any achievement to be credited to them. So you can't see any government coming on board and said, yes, I want to do this and I'm going to abandon it. No, there must be a reason. And one of the reasons could be paucity of funds. You could be lack of expertise. So you could there are a lot of factors. It could be political interest, political pressures, and what have you. So now, okay, this is not what we wanted to do. So it could be lack of expertise, knowledge. It could be inadequate capacity, or technical skill. So that was the reason why I listed all the factors that could be responsible for the challenges. So it's not just one factor. You could be 1, 2, 3 at a point. You could be just one. You could be multiple.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. You are welcome, sir.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dupri. The last but not the least, we call on Mr. Akerele Kehinde. Unmute yourself. Your name, your ministry.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Yukon, good afternoon. My name is Kendi Akerele, Deputy Director of Public Affairs, Debt Management Office. How are you, my brother? Well done. A good
Mr.
delivery.
Akerele, good afternoon. Thank
Yes.
you.
Good afternoon, brother. Yes, I will just add my voice to what you just read, your response to the point raised now, right? Some of the things that can address these challenges is development plan. If we were thought out, right? You can look at Lagos State as a 25-year development plan. And this development plan has been followed religiously and has really helped Lagos State to where it is now, right? And the change of party too, because Lagos has been having one party for the last, since the return of democracy in 1999. It has helped greatly that they are limited if there are abandoned projects in Lagos State, right? So when we have this kind of things and a well thought out project, if a project well thought out, looking at the benefit of the society, sometimes even if we have a change of government, it will be difficult for it to abandon. However, that does not mean that it doesn't happen. Like the case of Lagos Sokoto Road, which has been since 1979. I can see how many years ago that this project was formulated, and it just recently that Aswaju is thinking of reviving the project and put back to in stream, right? So, like we said, the positive of fund do affect and the lack of well thought out project. Even with policy or a program is not well thought out, right? Oftentimes, the succeeding government can feel that this is not a priority. You can have priority or some exigency or natural cause. Like during COVID-19, when COVID-19, there are some projects that have to be put on hold because of priority of government to need to address that thing. This is just I should have my own word to the delivery of my brother. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Mr. Akerele, thank you for your input. Please don't go, stay put. Don't mute yourself. Please, we have another lecture by 5 o'clock, so we want to call today's class a day. As our norms here, we call on one participant on behalf of participants to appreciate our facilitators. As I want to call on Mr. Kehinde, let me see your emojis to support what Mr. Kehinde want to say, the appreciation. And other, please, I will send the slides to our channel. Please join our channel. As from tomorrow, we will start sending material like voice version of any of our class or session and other material that you need. Like today's one now, we are going to send it. The one in the morning, the auditing, we are going to send it. See, why we are bringing different cadre to this call is that I'm still saying it, the CBT consists of what they call multiple choice question. And the meaning of multiple choice question is not that it's not I'm an accountant, it's based purely no, it's mixture, general knowledge, current affairs, just because the examiner believe if you are in any ministry, you should know what's going around there. You should turn yourself to accountant, engineer, everything, so that whenever they call to go and represent, I mean, governor, they say go and represent PS in the governor and talk about your ministry. Say, I know I'm an accountant, I'm not this. No. So that is why we are bringing random professionals to come and take us, so that whenever we come across anything on that multiple choice question, it's only 100. I'm a funny for funny. So that's why we're doing this. Please pay attention and make yourself available. I know it's not convenient for you. Likewise me, but I just have to do the call. I have to do the sacrifice to make everybody pass. right? So I thank every one of us. Out of 6,000 members that I have on my channels, I'm still only 400 something on this call, and this is very important policy, very, very important. But anyway, we are going to, if you are on our channel, we send the YouTube, go to our YouTube archive and extract what you want there. So on behalf of participant, Mr. Kende, you have the floor to appreciate our facilitator, and other participants should use the emojis to support. Thank you. Mr. Kende, you have the floor.
Thank you, my coordinator, my initiator, Mr. Jamiu, my friend, my brother. When you come over, thanks so much. Right, you've never disappointed. I have known you for being a resource person. You proved what you are known for. You were thought out and well presented. Policy is very central. There's hardly anywhere you like Mr. Jamiu just said. Now, any your agency is a policy that brings about a particular agency. Police government create last mile, create DMO, create all the for one reason or the other to achieve a particular objective. And your breakdown really explain this in detail. I really appreciate your presentation, and it has really impacted, and you can keep important. This is a reference point that most of us, right? Some of us are very new about policy formulation, policy implementation, right? This will go a long way in contributing to our wealth of knowledge. Thank you, and God bless you. Right.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Kende. Mr. Kende is one of our supporters too, a stakeholder of a public service knowledge of. Thank you. That's why that, no, Mr. Kende didn't call me to come and eat, but no problem. So